Yo, what's going on YouTube? It is your boy GZTV back with another stream. We are here Wednesday, January 15th. We had plenty of NBA action tonight. There were one, two, three, four. There's like 5 good basketball games on tonight. So I'm going to talk about those in decent depth, and that'll just be kind of the video. Again, you guys know how these recaps go. Every single night there is NBA action on. We do these type of videos, so it's a pretty exciting time. Let's get into it. We're going to start with the Knicks and 76ers game, which opened us up on ESPN. Both of the ESPN games were actually pretty good. So Jalen Brunson scores 16 of his 38 points in the fourth quarter and overtime as the Knicks beat the Sixers by 6. Great scoring night for Jalen Brunson, and especially late in the clutch when the team needed him. That's awesome. Josh Hart had his 11th triple-double of his career. We would have never even imagined Josh Hart to get triple-doubled, but having the chemistry with his old Villanova teammates just elevated his game to a whole another level, and they get the win. Mikal Bridges was getting up for some slams. A lot of energetic plays. This was a very energizing game. Knicks fans were taking over with MVP chants, booing Sixers fans at their arena. And, obviously Jalen Brunson's a bit of a ball hog, but, it works out. OG tried to hit the game-winning shot before OT. That didn't work. Precious Achiuwa had a goaltend on Tyrese Maxey. It was just a wild game with a bunch of wild sequences. Clutch shot after clutch shot for Jalen Brunson. You gotta give him credit. Obviously, Josh Hart getting him breakaways, making plays. There's a lot of Draymond Green has kind of started a trend around the NBA, not necessarily, but that type of player, plays defense, does everything but scores 25 points a game, and Josh Hart is the Draymond Green of the of the Knicks. And another example for the Bulls, you have your Josh Giddeys. It's awesome, dude. But you look at the New York Knicks, you get a 23-point performance for Mikal Bridges, who shot 50% from 3, 38 points for Jalen Brunson, who shot 50% from 3 as well, and then you get a 10-point, 12 assist, 17 rebound performance for Josh Hart. Absolutely fantastic. No cat, and they still get the dub. You look at the Sixers, you get 26 points out of Paul George. You get a 33-point game from Tyrese Maxey after a pretty slow start to the game. He was starting to put up some shots. 16 points, 10 rebounds for Kelly Oubre, who shot 33% from 3. But I'm telling you, in games like this, against a team like the Knicks, not having Embiid kills this Sixers squad, and having Yabusele out there, he just can't quite score. And yeah, they're kind of enlisting guys like Justin Edwards off the bench, and he's playing pretty well, but Yabusele, not a starter by any means, but it just has to be that way. So let's move on to the Mavs Pelicans. A lot of these games I actually watched pretty extensively tonight. This is probably the most I've watched basketball in a while, so I'm pretty hyped to talk about this stuff. DeJounte Murray scores 30 points as the Pelicans outlast the injury-depleted Mavs. They win by 3, and I've been kind of saying this. I'm not really sure why the Pelicans are even trying to win games. They should honestly just tank for a draft pick and continue to build a young core. I don't know. DeJounte Murray had a crazy scoring night. Trey Murphy III had a disputed block of Spencer Dinwiddie's layup for the lead with 4 seconds left. And, yeah, obviously this Mavs team has all sorts of injuries, but you got to give them credit. They're staying in it. They still have a really good season ahead of them, I think. Yeah, game-saving block. Huge play for Trey Murphy III. And, obviously, he plays very well on both sides of the ball, hitting tough shots offensively, too. Very entertaining game. Klay Thompson had a couple of vintage moments. He was hitting threes, step backs, huge shots. Man, Daniel Gafford, though, just showing his athleticism, showing his length. He had a nasty alley-oop finish. This was a really fun game. Really dope plays. You look at the Mavs, Daniel Gafford possibly having one of, if not the best game of his career. 27 points, 12 rebounds. That is incredible. 14 points and 14 rebounds for P.J. Washington as well. 20 points for Spencer Dinwiddie, despite the loss. 21 points off the bench for Jaden Hardy. Off of 67% three-point shooting, you would think that this team would have won. Obviously, Najee Marshall just wasn't it. Honestly, their guard play is pretty decent without Kyrie and Luka. I think their problem is just balancing their front court. And Najee Marshall, great passer this game. He was making plays for the team, but you got to expect him to score at a certain level. And obviously, Quentin Grimes and Jaden Hardy have kind of become the scorers off the bench for this team, but still, you kind of expect some things. You look at the Pelicans, you get a 30-point performance for DeJounte Murray off of 40% three-point shooting. You get 24 points and 10 rebounds for Trey Murphy III, who shot 33% from 3. And those two guys led the way. Of course, Zion's not fucking playing. I don't know what's been going on with him. But let's move on to kind of a less exciting game, Hornets Jazz. I mean, these are two kind of shitty teams, but we got to talk about it. It's close. Mark Williams scores a career high 31 points in the Hornets' 5-point victory over the Jazz. Mark Williams has had a really good stretch recently, though, I will say. I've kind of been noticing that with the Hornets' runs and stuff. So Mark Williams possibly having the best game of his early career, scoring at a high level, rebounding at a high level this game. And he helps him out, slamming it down, making for some very entertaining basketball. LaMelo Ball here and there was hitting tough shots. Cody Williams was fighting back, and he's a pretty dope young talent. But, man, it was just the Mark Williams show all night long. Really good game for the Hornets, though. This was an awesome showing. I mean, 20 points for Brandon Miller off of 30% three-point shooting. 25 points, 10 rebounds for Miles Bridges. 31 points, 13 rebounds for Mark Williams. 27 points for LaMelo Ball. I mean, 4 starters scoring 20-plus points for this Hornets squad. That's pretty unheard of for them. But you look at the Jazz, you get a 26-point performance for Keontae George. I think this is his first game in a while, I think. 11 points, 10 assists for Isaiah Collier, kind of making plays himself. Young guy, shooting 50%. Man, they just have some anomalies in their fucking starting. Like Micah Potter, again, why is that guy a starter? I don't know. You have anybody on the bench. You have Drew Eubanks, Kyle Filipowski, Bryce Sensabaugh, Patty Mills. You even have Elijah Harkless, who they're kind of trying out a little bit, and we have Micah Potter playing minutes. I don't get it. I don't know why that guy's in the rotation. Obviously, Lauri Markkanen has left a hole in this franchise with his injury, but there you go. I don't really want to talk too much more about that game as we get into Warriors Timberwolves. This is the second game from that ESPN stuff. Warriors fend off the Timberwolves by a point behind Steph Curry's 31 points. They climb back to 500. Again, I'm sure Flight Reacts will be quite happy about that. I'm probably actually going to watch this video later. Steph Curry, as always, elite three-point shooting in this game and really good scoring. And he kind of has to do that at this point if the Warriors want to stand a chance to at least make a slight playoff push. Now, obviously, they're not expected to win a championship or anything, but if they want to have a respectable season, that's what Curry's just going to have to do. Obviously the Timberwolves were using some momentum and trying to get back in this game, but doing a really good job of just finishing the game. Huge threes. Steph Curry making big shots late in the game. Obviously, Ant was making it tough all night for these guys, hitting some extremely tough shots. Donte DiVincenzo as well was hitting from behind the arc against his former team. Guys like Rudy Gobert were hitting tough shots, and Jaden McDaniels played some really good at-the-rim defense, proving tough for Steph Curry and the guys. But, hey, got to give the Warriors credit. They got the win, and also 24 points out of Andrew Wiggins, so that's good. 31 points from Steph Curry. You look at the Timberwolves side of things, and I mean, you get 28 points out of Donte DiVincenzo shooting 50% from three. He's had a hell of a run with this team recently. Great the last couple of games. 28 points for Anthony Edwards. Man, I really respect Rudy Gobert, and I love him as a rebounder. I love him as a defensive player for this team, but sometimes his offensive faults just hurt this team. And obviously their offensive big man on this team more or less is Naz Reid, and that's kind of who they've been relying on for the last 3-4 years maybe. But man, Rudy Gobert just has to be a little bit more of a scoring threat on that end. So that's all I'll kind of say about that. We can move into Heat Lakers to close out the night. You guys know I'm not talking about Nets Clippers. They ended up winning by fucking 50-something. But Rui Hachimura and Anthony Davis helped the Lakers end a 3-game skid with a 9-point win over the Heat. Coming out of the whole wildfire stuff, and LA just kind of trying to recover from that. Lakers have been struggling. They have not been playing very well. But, you get Rui Hachimura and Anthony Davis going out there having great scoring nights, and Anthony Davis even getting on the boards a little bit, just doing what he does best. And they get the victory. Just an electrifying moment, when guys like LeBron catch alley-oops, and it's such a special moment to watch like a city like that recover, and view their best players making big plays, and it excites them. It's so cool. The Lakers fan getting the LeBron experience, that was awesome. Love seeing stuff like that. Really good game though. Rui Hachimura getting to the rim. Obviously guys like Tyler Hero will always make it tough on you. Win or loss, he's gonna go out there and fucking ball as he's been doing all season. My God, Tyler Hero is elite, by the way. He is an all-star level scorer. Borderline all-star level playmaker. I mean, he's great, but Obviously, didn't lead to winning basketball, but Tyler Hero, man, I mean, 34 points off of 67% shooting is incredible. No Jimmy Butler really hurts them. And, Terry Rozier just didn't play that great tonight as well. Obviously, they have Duncan Robinson, Nikola Jovic, Kalel Ware, Alec Burks to kind of come in and fill his spots, but not a great game for Terry Rozier by any means. You look at the Lakers, you get 22 points and 11 rebounds for Anthony Davis. He shot 33% from three. You get 23 points for Rui Hachimura off of 40% three-point shooting, 60% overall shooting. 22 points for LeBron, who shot 50% from three, 60% overall. 14 points, 14 assists for Austin Reeves, who shot 67% from three. I mean, the Lakers just had all the right pieces tonight. There's really not much else you can say. They did everything they needed to win the game. As we get into tomorrow's action, Pacers and Pistons, I don't think Tyrese Halliburton is playing, but I really hope he does for my fantasy sake. But that's going to be a good game. Just kind of getting into some of the highlight games tomorrow. We all know the Cavs and Thunder are having their well-anticipated rematch from a couple weeks ago, and that's going to be on TNT. Of course, you have to televise a game like that. You have the Rockets playing the Kings, and I think that's really about it. I don't think tomorrow is going to be anything special. Obviously, Cavs, Thunder, and like the viewership that the NBA's gotten, that's enough to be excited about. But I don't know, man. We will have to see how those games go. Hopefully, you guys have been enjoying the recaps. Again, I will be here every single night. There's NBA action throughout the regular season, throughout the playoffs, close games. I will talk about them. If we get to the playoffs and there's no close games in a day, I'm not going to talk about it because this is kind of supplemental content. I already post other stuff on my channel. We are 3 episodes into our rewatch for Squid Game Season 1, and obviously we will transition into Season 2 from there. I'm watching *Malignant* right now. It's a horror movie. Kind of got like 20 minutes into that before I started recording this, and I'm probably going to watch a little bit of that before I go to bed. But anyways, at GZTV, leave a like on the stream, leave a comment, discuss basketball, do whatever you want to do. Sub to the channel if you enjoy what you see. Really appreciate it. You guys have been doing great on the Squid